Following video is brought to you by BSEN, Boston Sports Entertainment Network. Please subscribe, hit that like button, and as always, leave a comment, and thank you for enjoying the video. Welcome, everybody, for another episode of the Boston Sports Entertainment Network Roundtable. I'm your host, The Rit. We had a small technical difficulty there, and, well, we're going to sit there and come off tonight with all your Boston sports news. We're going to be running them down from the first segment with the Boston Red Sox and all the news that's been happening in the past 24 hours. In the second slot, we've got the New England Patriots. Third spot, we got the Boston Bruins. And last but not least, closing out the show will be the Boston Celtics. So, guys, get your questions ready for the Red Sox. We've got coming in here. We got Mike Carissa from the Pesky Party Hour. We got the OG George Sutherland from the Pesky Podcast. And we're going to bring them on in right after this quick commercial break.
Shot to right, slicing toward the pesky pole, down the line, and it's going to be out of here! Line down the right field line. toward the pesky pole. Leaping up, and that ball is gone. That's a home run. A lot of our NESN team as well. High fly down the right field line, headed toward the pesky pole. That one tucked in, and that ball is going to be against the wall and into second base. Number retired, and now Rafael Devers trying to retire that baseball inside the pesky pole.
Man, what's going on, George? We had a great conversation last night. Mike, earlier this week. Let's start off this crazy 24 hours of Boston baseball. Let's start it off with Mike. You and I have been talking about it earlier this week. George, we covered it last week. The Red Sox signed Giolito for a small contract. Mike, we talked about it's close to what you and I thought he would sit there and get. So what are your thoughts coming off of the signing? And what does that mean for the Boston Red Sox pitching staff?
Well, on one hand, you sign Giolito, and then a day, two, whatever it was later, you lose a piece of the rotation. So George had mentioned it earlier in a text. I believe that there's going to be something else has got to happen. Bringing Von Grissom in, play second base, shores up that spot, and it allows the Red Sox to maybe trade away maybe a York or, somebody. I don't see Marcelo Meyer going anywhere. But I think the best choice for the Red Sox would be, to me anyway, would be a trade for a starter. As you know, I'm not very keen on paying Jordan Montgomery $20 million, never mind 20, 15 a year. I'd like to see them go to maybe Miami, check out. I'm sure Breslow has checked in with all these teams 1,000 times. Milwaukee, the White Sox, even Cleveland. See what's going on with Bieber, So I think there's something else coming. And the way Breslow has kept it hush-hush, I think is, for the Red Sox nation, it's not very cool, but I think it's pretty good what he's been doing.
I personally love it. I love the aspect of, keeping everything close to the vest. So that way it's legitimately a big surprise, like when stuff like this happens. Right. George, what are your thoughts on how close Breslow's been keeping it, and not only to himself, but I believe he's got his team in check of there's no leaks.
Yeah, I gave a preview of something I'm going to say in my article that will come out tomorrow. He's got radio silence in force. He is in charge of that front office. There are no leaks. Okay. And that's good because you're not tipping off the opposition to some things that you may be looking at, and somebody else swoops in and, makes a better deal. I give him a lot of credit. He probably had to sit down and said, look, to be successful, we're not going to do this. I think it also shows maybe a little bit of the disrespect that Chaim Bloom received, when he ran the top spot on the order. But yeah, the sale thing came out of nowhere today. But if you look at it, it was his last year. He had $27 million on the books, 27.5, right? You're paying 17 of that. If the Braves want to pick up the second year of that, they're picking it up for 20. So they're all in for 30. We're still getting out from under it at 17. It works both ways. You get a kid with a tremendous upside that can play second base. You're not having to go pay an exorbitant amount of money for a high-priced veteran, a Merrifield or an Anderson or somebody along that line. That's a shrewd move. And you got $10 million more. I did a little checking before. The Sox are somewhere about 50 to 51 million under the luxury tax right now. So they can do a couple of things. All right. And that gives him money to go out and get a frontline pitcher and probably a quality bat. And then, additions as, clubs need. I'd like to see him go get a backup catcher that's worth something, but that's just my preference. But yeah, this was a very shrewd move, and hats off to him and keeping it quiet. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, today it was huge. Like you said, I was shocked. I went and tweeted it out right after passing, put it out there. I went and put our little video together, for Chris Sale's. Thanks for the memories. And Chris Sale and $17 million is going to the Atlanta Braves for Vaughn Grissom, who has 6 full years of control coming with him. That is huge.
Yeah.
So, with Sale, we've had an addition last night, subtraction today. Do you think that opens up for maybe a Paxton reunion at a 1, maybe 2-year deal, Mike?
It's tough to say at his age, it's similar to that to Michael Walker. What happened to him? Walker came into Boston. He had a pretty good year, and at his age, he was looking for probably his last big payday in the big leagues. And I think that's pretty much what Paxton is looking. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna say, well, I'll take a year or 2 deal to prove myself again. By that time, he's 36, 37. So I think he's looking in the 3 to 4 range year-wise, I think. But, with the way options go and the way you can pay guys now, anything's possible. But I would say he's not coming back yet.
Okay. Vaughn Grissom, you guys did some homework on him. I know his first career home run in the majors was at Fenway Park over that Green Monster, a little right-handed power bat there. So, guys, so what did you sit there and think, and what homework did you guys dig up on him?
Well, I got him for I got his scouting report, and they got him for more average over power. He's got raw power, but that's in BP from what I was told. 500 ABs, he's going to hit you 15, 17 home runs, 80 games, 81 games at Fenway. He's a line drive, dead pull hitter, just about 50%. He's got the arm for third, the hands for second, but from what I was told, the range at short just isn't there. He was a shortstop down in Florida in high school. Obviously, your best players are usually your shortstops, but in the big leagues, he'll be that second baseman. And I came across something I found kind of interesting. In winter ball this year, he's played 45 innings at third, and he's played 60 in left, none at second. So evidently Atlanta, because of Ozzie Albies playing second, they were going to try and make him a versatile type of player because Albies, he's not going anywhere. So they were going to try and get him at bats in the outfield and so forth and so on. So now he's legitimately back to second base for the Red Sox, obviously. Great athletic. He's an athletic kid. The thing on him last year before AAA season began was he needed to put a little something on those bones of his. At 6'2", $180, to go through a whole big league season. They wanted him to put some meat on those bones. But they say he's going to be more of an average guy over power. Great understanding of the strike zone. If you look at his K and walk percentage, their strikeout percentage is 8, 9, 10, 11% more than his walk rate, and that's pretty good for a young kid at his age in AAA and in the big leagues. The only thing I see on him is he's been a ground ball hitter since he got to the big leagues at almost 60%. So we don't need him hitting ground balls and paying Yoshida 19 of a year to hit ground balls either. So I think if they can get him to elevate the ball a little bit and become a gap hitter and use that wall and go over it at times, I think they got something here, especially with the control they got over him.
Yeah, George, we were sitting there, and with what Mike gave us on a scouting report, we were talking last night on who's going to sit there and come off the bench, or who's going to be able to available to help Devers and Casas on days off. And he plays second, and he's playing third. So does that sit there and mean Reyes or Valdez might be on the move now? What are you thinking, George?
Absolutely. This changes the dynamic a lot. I mean, we talked about it last night that Reyes and Valdez, if no Merrifield or Anderson, this takes care of that problem. And if he indeed has played third base and played it at a reasonably good level, thank you, Atlanta, for trying to make him a utility guy to get some innings. That just benefits everybody. I mean, there was never any question about his arm. It was always his range. And his defensive stats is much better at second base than short. I think because he didn't have his footwork, he always tried to make it up with his arm. So I don't think he should be able to play quality second base. Not much above, maybe average, and I'll take average at second base right now, considering everything else.
That's what
he projects to. The limited time he's got in the majors for his at bats, he's hitting in the low 280s. He's probably a 265 hitter, overall, I would think. But yeah, I mean, you got 6 years of control. You can bring him along a little bit. Pairing him with Story wouldn't be the worst thing either. Help him out, both right-handed hitters. Story can help them both defensively because he's played on the other side of the bag as well. So yeah, very astute pickup for the Sox.
Yeah.
Okay. Final question before we move on to the Patriots. You guys, Mike, you've been huge on him every week, drilling us with Dylan Cease. George brought him up last night. Who would you rather have the Red Sox trade, Luzardo or Dylan Cease? Mike, we'll start with you.
I like Cease. I think Luzardo is he's still raw. He gets away with a lot of stuff on his arm in deception and, 98, of course. But Raw is a little more, Cease is a little more polished. His ceiling, he hasn't reached his ceiling yet. Red Sox trade for him. They have their number one guy. If they extend him, you go from there. You have your number one guy for 5-6 years or whatever they give him. I just like Cease's makeup. He's a competitor. He's a north and south pitcher. He's incorporated a bigger pitch mix every year. He's been in the big leagues. The command is an issue at times. It goes astray, but he gets away with just raw ability at times. I just like Cease and what he brings to the team. He's a quiet kid, good clubhouse guy. Luzardo, I think if he came into a city like Boston, they would expect him to be, 14-6, and he's not going to be. He's still got some growing to do with his pitching profile, his pitch mix, his pitch sequence. He's another one with command issues at times. But I like him. I mean, if we got either one of them, I wouldn't, wouldn't be on the fence with it. But if I had to make a choice, I would say I would have to go for Cease and then Burns and then Luzardo and then maybe a Bieber, but I'm not, he's in the decline, I believe, in his career. He's on the other side of the top right now, I think, with his detailed stats and his skill level. But I like Cease.
Okay, George, What are you thinking? If you had your choice for your final thoughts here.
It's going to cost you more to get. I think it's going to cost you more to get Lozado simply because of his upside and where he sits in his development and his contract status. So the high cost is there. And it's also going to cost you to get Cease. I think the likelihood is Cease simply because the fire sale that's going on, over there now. I mean that franchise is a bloody mess. Okay, and it's time to go pick their bones clean and try to get. Lozado really intrigues me, and he's, like I said, thrown at 98. I love that. I think for the immediate and midterm, Cease is a terrific option. Lozado maybe longer term. He's still got some things to prove, as Mike pointed out. But you end up with a better pitching staff. So in the end, that's all about that. I'm all in on Burns, as you know, Rit. I mean, I've been writing on him for a while. Bieber, if maybe trade deadline, pick him up afterwards. The other name I hear floating around is the Japanese kid Imanaga. Is that how you pronounce it? I probably screwed that up, but yeah, he's you might want to take a flyer with him. But yeah, I can see them picking up Cease, and the way that the way that the deal went down with Sale today, you got to know something's going on. Okay, if it doesn't happen tonight, it may indeed happen tomorrow. I mean, right now they're on a roll. Pop, and then if they land a starting pitcher, next stop is a power right-handed bat. So we'll see where that sits. But yeah, if I had to put money on it, I'd say Cease.
Okay, well, guys, sit there and thanks for coming by, covering our Red Sox news. Next up, guys, we have Pete Collins from the Foxborough Fellas podcast bringing up the Patriots. We'll be back after this quick commercial break.
Patriots Nation, stand up. The champs is back. Listen up, this is the anthem track. This is history in the making. You're all witnessing greatness. It's better when the pressure is on us. Our backs against the wall. What we do gets stronger. And everything we earn, we deserve. It's nothing but blood, sweat, tears, and hard work on our turf. Still on top, we stay focused. Been running it for a minute now, if you ain't noticed. Cause now is our time, it's all or nothing. So pay attention, cause them boys is up to something. From the proving grounds to top tier, we won't stop, and they still mad cause we still here.
Welcome back, and with me is Pete Collins from the Foxborough Fellas podcast. Pete, man, what's going on, man? How are those Patriots? First off, great podcast you guys put out. You had the OG in there, and you had Bob, and it was like a history lesson going on, Pete.
It was double OG on the last episode. Bob and George, both OGs. If you didn't watch the last episode and you're a longtime Patriots fan, I highly recommend going to check it out. Bob is the stat man. Bob knows these stats that I swear nobody in the history of Pat's fandom knows. He was tweeting me, DMing me stats about Troy Brown, about how, the only player to catch a pass from like a quarterback, a wide receiver, to do one on defense, kick return, punt return, some crazy stats like that. So yeah, definitely go check out the episode with Bob. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, man. You guys are sitting there, and man, I thought that Red Sox Nation was completely divided, but paying more attention to the Patriots Nation, good Lord, you guys are like getting ready to explode over there, Pete. You have the 50-50s. We got tanks for the memories with the shirt that we put out, with Bill. And then you got the ones, and I can't wait till a little bit later, and then especially tomorrow. Then you got the real Patriots fans that just want to win at whatever cost it takes, Pete. So what are your thoughts about, the split nation you guys have there?
I mean, you need two sides to the coin if you want a healthy debate. You can't have everyone lining up on one side, or else you have a disaster going on. Like, let's just run through those two scenarios. Everybody wants Bill Belichick fired and nobody wants to keep him. Well, that really means something horrible is going on if everyone's lined up on that one side. Let's run through it on the other side, right? You're 4-11, but everyone wants Bill. You're like, what the hell is going on, right? Like, how are you this bad, but everyone wants to keep the status quo? I think you need to have two sides of the coin when you're 4-11 and you're a franchise that, we won a Super Bowl in 2019. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh man, winning's long gone. It's over. We're losers now. It's like, yeah, the Cam Newton experiment was tough, but we kind of hung in there with him. Mac Jones's rookie year, that was fine. It's really been a disaster only the past couple of years. And it's, a lot of people are divided. Is it Bill Belichick's fault with his drafting and his GM duties? He's kind of a failure there, if you ask me. Or is it Mac Jones just having a good rookie year? And then once the other NFL teams have tape on him, they know how to stop him. And it's been a disaster since. Should they pull in the plug sooner? Is that Bill's fault? Is that Mac's fault? There's so many. It's a debate. And that's what makes, I think, that the community really great, is that there's some healthy debates. As long as we keep it nice, we're not like just out there just calling people morons and idiots and all that fun stuff. I think I'm down for the debate. I'm here for it.
Well, quick question. Kendrick Bourne, do you think the Patriots should sign him to another contract?
It really depends on the money and where the direction is at the wide receiver position. I don't think he got, his fair shot here in New England, and I would love to see him back on the Patriots. The Patriots evaluation process for wide receivers is terrible. Juju on the IR, just kind of sealing the deal on the disaster that was. Devontae Parker, not a success here. And those two names had success at their previous location. I mean, Juju was good on the Chiefs. Devontae was good on the Dolphins. Even Gesicki, he was good on the Dolphins. He's no man's land out here. I know he filled in for Hunter Henry and caught a touchdown, but that was like a fill-in job. It felt like it's not his normal thing that he's been doing all year. Even Hunter Henry was elite when he was playing, with the Chargers. And now with us, he's like a blocking tight end. It feels like, do we take people who are receivers and turn them into nothing when they come here? And we draft these 6th-round receivers and hope they're going to be good enough. And Demario Douglas is, but booty is booty. So, I mean, like, what are we doing here with the wide receiver position? I'm down to keep Bourne, to circle back to your original question, but I'm hoping we're doing something else besides keeping Bourne.
Okay, next up, you guys are going up against those Buffalo Bills. But being a kid, all I ever heard, because, me being a Giants fan, was those Bills. That stands for, boy, I love losing Super Bowls. So, man, it's crazy. But what do you think is going to be going on? Can you give us a preview of the Patriots Bills? Is it going to be a close-knit game, like the rivalry?
So I wrote an article, and actually it just came out 26 minutes ago, or at 8:30. So go check me out at Pete Collins, well, Pete_Collins_ on Twitter. And you can see the link to my article there. It's on Substack. But anyway, what I predicted in that game, the Patriots haven't. If you have to go all the way back to the Cowboys and the Saints loss, where they got absolutely blown out, to find a game where they lost by 14 or more points. I believe they lost by exactly 14 points one other time. I think it was the Miami game. But, they don't lose by a lot of points when they lose. They just lose a lot of games. They lose close games. Their defense keeps them in there. So I think the 14-point line, which is the biggest, one of the biggest underdogs they've been all year, if not the biggest underdog they've been all year, I think that's too many points to give Buffalo and not giving enough the Patriots defense enough credit. So if I was throwing like a bet in, I would bet on I'd take the 14 points with the Patriots, but I don't think the Patriots are going to win this game. The Patriots really, I don't think, have a shot at winning this game. But if you do believe in them, they're getting their best odds money line plus 625 on DraftKings. So I mean, that's a pretty good payout if you're a Patriots believer. And if you're a Patriots believer and you're going to go Patriots money line, you need to throw some parlay. You need to parlay that with something else. I threw a couple prop bets in my article, and I'll rip them off right here. But if you want to see my rationales and, my details on why I'm picking these picks, make sure you read the article. First pick, I think Bailey Zappi is going to throw for over 190, over 200 yards. The line's at 199.5. They like playing decimals. And I think he's going to throw a touchdown. I mean, he's done it his past 3 games. So I'm parlaying Zappy over 199.5 and over a touchdown. So basically I'm saying he is going to throw a touchdown. You're getting plus 141 on ESPN bet. I think that's where you're getting your best odds. So you throw 100, you're making 141 back. I don't know. Zappy's averaged 225 over the last 3 games. So if you're thinking he's going to go over 200 and he's averaging 225, I think the stats are kind of leading you there. If you really are believing in Zappy, throw a third leg of that parlay in there and have him go over 32.5 passing attempts. Combining all that together gets you plus 254 on DraftKings. That's the only place that will really allow you to combine those 3 together as a parlay. But I think that's a good one to go after. Josh Allen loves throwing the ball to the wrong team. He's got 10 interceptions in his last 11 games. I think he's up there for the league, if not tied for the league in interceptions thrown. So I'm picking him to throw an interception this game. It's getting you at like plus 105 on ESPN bet right now. So you're making money on that. I think he's second in the league, if I look at my notes correctly. Patriots have 9 picks on the year, so they have every reason to believe that they can pick off Josh Allen. They picked off Mahomes twice. And here's I always throw one prop in there that I think that can win you a lot of money. The odds are great on this. Kevin Harris touchdown scorer. I think Kevin Harris, it's plus 900 on DraftKings. So I think that's easy money if you think he's going to score and you believe. Like I believe. Elliott's been trash. He's playing for a contract, but the Patriots don't have anything to do with that. And in fact, if they want to re-sign him, they don't really need his value to go up any further. I think they want to see what they have in Kevin Harris. They don't have Stevenson. He's on IR. Harris has played only 2 games, both in Stevenson's absence. He has 11 carries, 46 yards. That's 4.2 yards per carry. That's good. And he's got a touchdown. So plus 900. And if you really are a believer, and the game's going to kind of be junk at the end and he rushes one in at the end in junk time, I think it's like plus 2,000 to be the last touchdown scorer. So a couple of prop bets there for you, but I think the Patriots take the L against the Buffalo Bills, which should make Alex happy because then he can get his better draft pick because he's a real fan.
Well, Pete, real quick, we got 2 questions from a good fan, Dallas. First question. It's kind of a comment question. Sox got a good one from the Braves farm system for sale. And he goes, Pats need to remove the GM title from Bill. Addressing free agents can't really begin until the issue with Bill is resolved. Go Sox, go Patriots, fight on. What are your thoughts on the comment there from Dallas?
Yeah, no, I mean, Patriots have a GM issue because Bill Belichick's the head coach, the GM, the head personnel. He just does everything and he does too much. And when they asked him about it earlier this year, he even backpedaled. They're asking him about some of his picks, and he was like, I can't do everything. I can't scout everybody. And it's like, whoa. If you're gonna draft and you're gonna be the GM, you kind of do need to do all of that. I'm sorry if it's spreading you thin. Maybe someone else should do the job, and you should just head coach like almost all the other, if not every other NFL team out there. Like have someone who knows what they're doing at the GM position, who can evaluate talent, who does have the time for all of that. So I'm really hoping that part of the Kraft sit down with Bill Belichick at the year end, because every team does that, right? The owner must sit down with the head coach and say, here's what we need to improve on and going into next year, or it's decision-making time and you're getting fired. But I don't think that's what's happening here. I think they're sitting down and going, Bill, you're just getting older. You're moving towards the retirement. You're closer than further away. And we want someone else to start coming in here, doing the talent evaluation, getting us younger, getting us hip, putting the players in the right position. But we want to keep your genius at head coach. And so you're going to stay the head coach. But I want the offensive coordinator to call the play. I think there just needs to be some rules and some guidelines given to Bill Belichick, or Bill's never had any rules really given to him besides maybe a few with Brady. But really Bill's had free reign, and I think he just needs to lose some of that free reign. He needs to understand he's just a cog on this business. He always talks about each player just doing their job. Well, his job just got redefined by his boss, and hopefully he can understand that as a businessman who hasn't been all that successful for his company lately. I think when you try to break it down objectively like that and understand this is a business as much as it is a team and a sport, and Robert Kraft's an owner, and the more his team sucks, the less money he makes. And he wants his team to do good, not just because he likes W's, because he likes dollar bills.
Well, Pete, next question from from Dallas. if the Pats end up with the second pick, do they use it or leverage it for more picks?
Well, is he asking me what I want them to do? Is it what I want them to do or what they're going to do? Because you know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to trade their second pick, which is the proposed scenario in this question. They're probably going to pick lower than that since they like to win. But if they do have the second pick, you know Bill's going to flip it for 19 other picks and some special teamer that he really loves on some other. Yeah, I really just hope that they don't, though. Like if you're now asking me, like if I got hired as a GM, you know, maybe Robert Kraft's watching this YouTube live and he's like, man, that Pete kid, he really knows his stuff and he's going to be the new GM of the Patriots. Well, you know, I wouldn't flip that pick and I'd pick a quarterback. That's if I didn't think I could get somebody else that was better at quarterback. And that would be me sitting down and evaluating every player that's available, getting in touch with them to see if they are or they aren't. You know, I'm not Marlins, the college guy on the Foxborough Fellas podcast, so he knows all the talent evaluation a lot better than I do. I would kind of trust my scouts in that situation. Like, tell me who the best quarterback is to take there. And if the best quarterback's like the fifth pick, maybe you go down from like 2 to 5. You know, like you drop a couple spots because you can get value, but you don't blow it up and turn it into 17 seventh round picks.
Okay. Pete, any closing thoughts about the Patriots you want to sit there and put out there?
I mean, we got Tankathon going on over here. We have the Tank Watch. Not only are we trying to watch what the Patriots are doing as far as wins and losses and where it results them in draft position, we're really taking a look around the NFL. So a couple games for Patriots fans to tune into. You got the Patriots are the biggest underdogs amongst the Tank Watch. Arizona's playing the Eagles, which isn't good because Eagles will probably win that game. 12-point underdogs for Arizona. Panthers played the Jaguars. That's the game to watch, really. 4-point spread there. I know the Panthers are below, but they don't have a Tank Watch. There's no reason for them to lose because they give up their pick. So maybe they actually surprise the Jags. So that's a good one to watch. And then you got Washington now in the mix because the Patriots decided to win, but they're playing the 49ers, 13.5-point dogs. So really Arizona and Washington probably going to eat the L. Patriots probably going to eat the L. So maybe you see some movements if the Panthers win. Tank Watch is on.
Okay, and final thing, our boy Jutt wanted to throw his 2 cents in. Bill hasn't had the need to get the best player for the first 20 years because of Tom. So I think Bill is still in that mindset, and I believe it. You know, he thinks that he can. He's trying to find the next Tom Brady in the 6th, the 7th round, and Pete, that's why he trades for 17 7th round picks, because he's bound to find somebody good in one of those.
Sarah Marshall nailed it a couple weeks ago on our podcast when she said, whoever everyone else likes in the NFL draft, Bill instantly doesn't like those players and goes, that's not cool and trendy to pick what everyone else likes, and goes for those guys that nobody freaking knows. That's why he picks a kicker in the 4th round. That's why he picked Kyle Duggar, who is a D2 player early. You know what I mean? You got these like ridiculous picks. He loves being a genius and being called that. I really do think he loves his ego being stroked. But on that topic, he does pick really well after like the 100th pick. He can't evaluate the top 100 players, and he can evaluate the bottom half of the draft. Like, who cares about that, really? Maybe he helps out the next GM draft in the 5th round and beyond. But really, he has been carried by Tom Brady. To Jutt's point, Brady has covered up a lot of his mistakes, but at the same time, he has hit on some of these lower draft picks. So you got to give him credit where credit's due.
So, well, Pete, thanks for stopping by and helping us cover the Patriots. Next up, we are going to be bringing up the Boston Bruins, and we're going to be bringing them in right after this quick commercial break.
My boy Ryan. Woo!
And welcome my good friend from the Kings of Causeway, one half of the Kings of Causeway. We got RC. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, Josh, not too bad. Co-host is in the vet right now with his puppy. One thing he loves more than the Bruins is his dog. So, joined by one half of the Kings of Causeway.
Hey, gotta sit there and tell you, man. I don't know if you've been checking out the stats, but so far you guys are on fire for your first episode you guys covered. And, well, sitting there listening to it, it was just like it wasn't two guys we put together. You guys are legitimately great friends, and you guys talk Bruins all the time.
Yeah, me and Pat go way back. We met back in college. Pretty much clicked immediately. Obviously, we got lucky. The year that we became friends was the year the Bruins won the Cup, 2011. So it's been natural since then. His family was from Boston. I went to Florida in school. Coming from Boston, pretty much talked to Bruins ever since. Went to a bunch of games in Tampa and Sunrise, and it's natural for us. We talk Bruins every day.
Man, so thinking about it, right? I'm hoping that you guys first connected, Bruins won a championship. I'm hoping you guys first did your podcast together, Bruins won a championship. You know what I'm saying?
I'm hoping the same. I think everyone has been waiting for any championship in the Garden, whether that's the crew over at the Celtics or the Bruins. It's been a tough few years. I've been part of a couple of them where the Garden's kind of collapsed, in those finals games at home. So that's even more tough to swallow than losing away. But yeah, I'm excited. I think Bruins weren't coming into it with a real shot, but everything I've seen so far says they could definitely pull something off here.
Well, our boy Pete from the Boston Sports Entertainment Network, he asked, should the Bruins stick to taking the stairs from now on?
I'm not sure if I get that reference, Pete. I might have missed that one. Might have to elaborate on that one.
So, but okay.
Stuck in the elevator.
Stuck in the elevator.
Yeah, they're definitely stuck in the elevator right now. With they had a 4-game losing streak, obviously coming into Buffalo's game on Wednesday, but catching fire right now. If anyone else is watching the podcast and watching the Bruins live right now, came back from a 1-goal lead. They're up 4-2, so I think it's a big week. Could really dictate the rest of the season.
Yeah, I've got to ask, what did you think of what I personally thought was the defensive play of the year so far?
Was this Charlie McAvoy saving the empty net?
Yes.
Yeah, that was. We were just talking about how Charlie McAvoy, he can be a big presence. He can win you a game. He can lose you a game. That was an example of him, potentially stealing a game there. It's not easy to use a stick that's 2.5 inches to bat a puck that's not a circle. It's obviously a puck, hard to kind of bat that out of the air while it's spinning. So great hand-eye coordination and not something you see every day. So especially under pressure in the middle of a game.
Yeah, that was absolutely seeing it from every angle. I made a short and a TikTok video of it, seeing it from every angle, just the reaching out and hitting it. I was just like, man, that is crazy. So they're winning tonight against New Jersey, which is always a tough battle, for them. So what's the upcoming week look like, and what are you thinking we're going to be going out?
Yeah, so I think we called it out in our podcast. New Jersey was probably our toughest opponent to start the week. Bruins have a back-to-back, so they play again tomorrow. Red Wings, who are not very good team as of right now, stats-wise and in the standings. However, they've seemed to have our number every year. It's something, magical they pull out where they seem to be that underdog team that always has the Bruins number. So being tired, coming off of a potential big win tonight, they need to grind it out tomorrow and just figure out a way to win and go into the rest of the week.
Well, I don't know. I might be a little biased there, RC, but I personally think that the Bruins have the best goalie tandem in the league. Do you think by having the two, best pairings as goalies helps them in back-to-back games?
I would say so, hands down. It's not like when your team goes into it not thinking, hey, we have a better option or a worse option coming into the game. I think that does a lot mentally. And then when you bring in the physical element of kind of being tired, coming off a game you just played, knowing you kind of have that extra juice of a goalie that's going to be the same as your 1A, potentially a 1A, 1B situation. It just gives you that much more energy to, hey, let's just grind this out on Sunday and look forward to the rest of the week. So big mentally for sure.
Who is probably your biggest surprise so far this year? To date.
To date, I'd say biggest surprise is probably Charlie Coyle. We had this argument on our first podcast. I've always been a big believer. He's probably exceeded my expectations. I think I've said it, he's not excellent at anything, I'd say, but he's very, very good at everything almost. And so I think just having that consistency this year with some of the young guys, it's actually paid off for him in the stat category. He's scoring goals, he's getting the assists, he's carrying play. So I think it's not necessarily changing his gameplay. It's just more he's getting rewarded for some of those things this year, which is good.
Craziest stat you think that will happen for the remainder of the season? Who gets the next hat trick?
Oh, the next hat trick or the next hat trick?
The next hat trick for the Bruins.
Well, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention David Pastrnak, 2 goals up tonight. So he needs one more, and I guess we could call it a day tonight.
Yeah.
So yeah, David Pastrnak's always going to be the easy pick. If I had to pick outside of this game, I'm gonna do a shocker and go Jake DeBrusk. I think he always has the skill to do something like that.
Man, I love to be cooking with some pasta. I think it was last week too. He had 2 goals really early in the game, and people were looking for the hat trick last week too. Can't remember who it was against, but Pasta is amazing. Especially when he gets cooking, like then you can't stop him at all because it's just give him the puck. So what line do you think has improved from last year this year?
Yeah, I think all the lines have been mixed up this year. I really like Trent Frederick's play. I think kind of those third line guys and some of those rookies have really stepped up this year. Again, they've been scrambling with lines with a couple of kind of significant guys being out recently, but really love the third line. Trent Frederick stepping up big this year. And then I'd say I've loved recently what I've seen with Pasta and Zacha. We talked about keeping kind of that Czech line. Krejci's gone, but those two are still from the Czech Republic. They just have a certain chemistry you can't recreate with certain players. That's something you kind of live, feel, breathe when you kind of have that creativity. It's something I don't think you're going to find with anyone else in the lineup, taking those two away from each other.
No, exactly. So any final thoughts, for the Bruins going in tonight and going in for the next couple games until you guys' next podcast?
Yeah, next pod is coming out Thursday, so we will either be before or after that Pittsburgh Penguins game. So I'd just say grind out this back-to-back tomorrow, beat Detroit, pretty easy team that we should be able to beat. Same with Columbus on Tuesday. So hopefully by the time we're talking on Thursday, we're teeing up for a little bit more of a harder run over the next 5 games there. You got Pittsburgh, Lightning, Avalanche, 3 tough games. Coyotes should be a layup, but then you're back to Vegas and St. Louis Blues. So hard stretch coming up after these couple games. So hopefully we can come out 3-0 on this stretch.
So, well, RC, thanks a lot for coming on, covering our Bruins like always. Check him out. It's the Kings of Causeway with him and Patrick. Up next, to close out the show, we've got one half of Dynasty Proud. We've got Alex. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back on, we got Dynasty Proud's Alex.
I got the Boston Celtics going to the final. I got them winning the all.
It's time to represent your city. Put your hands up. Colin, you know we do it for Boston. Hey, ain't nobody gonna like Boston. Yeah, hey. Ain't nobody do it like Boston. Where the legends get made, where the banners get raised, bright lights, big stage. Boston. All the fire we bring in a city full of rings, it's a beautiful thing out in Boston. And you ain't hard like that, you don't put it on the line with your squad like that. That's right, Boston. All we do is win like cigars in the gym, and we at it again to say, Beantown, what's up? What's up? 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 Feel the energy shift, now we jumping at the gym. Represent, showing out how we ball above the rim. Larry Legend, 86, to the truth in 08. Cement your name with the all-time greats. Still banner 18 in the rafters. Celtic green, only green that matters. It's about that time. Ain't another city that's louder than mine. Always gonna shine with the game on the line. What you think was gonna happen, man? That's how we do it in Boston. Ain't nobody gonna like Boston. Yeah. Ain't nobody do it like Boston.
Man, what's going on, Alex? One half of Dynasty Proud, our Celtics podcast. Man, these past two nights, it's been some tough, close games, but man, we've seen our stars shining bright. So what do you think so far about these past two games?
So these are a lot more stressful than I thought they'd be, but I want to tip my hat to them as well, because I know we say this a lot this season, but these are two games they lose the last 2 years. Games where we're playing lesser opponents where obviously, their heads aren't fully in it. They're going through the motions and they figure they're going to win on talent, and they let up. So to go back to the Detroit game, they just came out with zero energy and effort against a team that's very hungry to get a win, which congratulations, Detroit finally snapped their streak tonight. But we didn't want to be the team that was going to do it. We were not going to hear the end of it from, Celtics hating Twitter or the media. So luckily we were able to, turn it around with our stars, Porzingis, who was incredible. And then last night, we played 3 great quarters and then just completely let go of the rope. But luckily, we still found a way to win. Derek White taking over. So at the end of the day, it's encouraged, because you're not going to go 82-0. You're not going to win every game by 30 points, even if you should beat certain opponents that way. But finding ways to win.
Yeah, and let's touch base real quick on D White, like the all-star D White, like that. How do you want to say, a role player doesn't do what he did last night. A contributor doesn't do what he did last night. He knew the team needed him. He took over and he handled his business.
That's Derek White is just the perfect Celtic, and because he does exactly what the team needs. When you have all your stars out there, he's not forcing shots. He's always going to make the right play. He's always going to, make the right read. He'll take the shot. He'll hit the shot. But like last night, obviously being down Porzingis, being down Tatum, being down Horford, when you needed that offensive jolt, luckily Jalen was able to carry us in the first quarter, the first half, but Derek White got it going. And when he looks to score, when he has that confidence out there, he looks as unguardable as the rest of them. So, D White does everything. He had another chase down block. I know his father, Richard White, who's a great follow on Twitter, by the way, always mentions stocks, steals, and blocks, how he leads the league in that, him and Drew Holiday. So we're fortunate to have both. But yeah, Derek just he just does everything for us. And yeah, if you want to call him a role player, then fine, but he should be an all-star.
Exactly. And you mentioned blocks. I want to throw a stat out there that we haven't seen happen since 87. Okay? Most games in a row with 2 straight blocks from a guard. Last person to do it was MJ back in 87. White's right there right now, baby. From it's crazy. He started from 12/17/2023 this year, and he's get 2 a game. He makes blocks. He's there when you need him. He's not afraid to sit there and step in front when he sees someone coming to the lane to try to swat that ball, And him and Holiday are the perfect combination back there that we need. And what is it, Alex? What is it with these Boston Celtics that we just split teams up? They disperse after they're done playing us. We did it to the Nets. Now Toronto. Like, well, what's going on there, man?
We just hit them where it hurts. We break their psyche because the Celtics, they're like, you just can't beat them. Like you can put them on the ropes. Like Detroit had us on the rope, but with Detroit with that game, I just always felt like we were going to end up winning that game. If we could just hang around, we have more talent than them to win the game. And that's the thing is we have so much talent on this team. What other team is going to have, Tatum, who's a top 5 to 10 player, Porzingis, who's a top 20, 25 player, Horford, who is so important to the team, have those guys out. And you're just like, oh, they have more than enough to win because there's just so much talent on this team. And with Derek White with his All-Star candidacy, a lot of people on Twitter, you can tell they don't actually watch the games. They just look at the box score, and the only thing they see in the box score is points per game. So if someone, for example, Derek White averaging about 17 a game, they'll find some random player in the NBA averaging 18, and they're like, well, if Derek White's an All-Star, then why isn't this player an All-Star? Not looking at every other aspect of the game, not looking at blocks, not looking at steals, not looking at impact in the game, impact on winning. And that's what Derek White does. He's a winning player. And we're very lucky to have him and Drew in the backcourt, and it's a menacing defensive line. And they're two-way players as well. They're just as capable offensively, and they've been carrying us in games offensively this week.
Man, I want to play a clip for the end of the game against Detroit, and just to see how amazing this play was, and the commentators are going crazy. So let's watch Porzingis.
Pulls up. Tatum the rebound, the wrong pass. Porzingis fakes it.
Man, it was almost like he was just sitting at home, like we was, just watching, man. Easy. So, how pumped were you when Porzingis made that?
I think I was relieved more than anything. I'm like, we're going to pull this off finally. That game was just so stressful, more so than you thought it'd be. But I love Porzingis. Like, you can just tell, like, he's just so happy to be here, and he's just such a weapon. Like, when you watch him, like, in the post, mid-range, like, step-back threes, like, he's just so unguardable, and it unlocks an element of this offense that we didn't have a year ago. And so I love watching him. And just even on that clip you played right there, like, you throw ahead to Porzingis, the natural reaction of a player would just be to go straight up. But he noticed the defender coming by that if he just hesitated for half a second, he could let him fly by and dunk it. And so it was a good court awareness. And yeah, I just love seeing him so happy. Like every interview he does, he's just saying how thankful he is to be in Boston, to be around a winning situation, to be around a team-centric, superstar like Tatum, as opposed to someone that dribbles the air out of the ball like he had in Dallas. So I love this team. I love watching them, and it just feels like they just keep growing and growing. And yeah, it's not without, their problems. Like at the beginning of the season, it was the third quarters. Lately, it's just been, lackadaisical lulls, but they're finding ways to win almost every single game. And, 25-6, that's the best record we've had since the 2009 season.
Yeah. So let's take a quick look ahead for the upcoming weekend. Quick thoughts on what do you think is going to happen with the Celtics for these next few games going into the new year?
So we have one game left. We play in San Antonio tomorrow. It'll be fun getting to see Wembanyama live for the first time, like for a full game as opposed to just highlights. So hopefully Porzingis plays. He's not on the injury report, but watching him play against Wembanyama, who Wembanyama is kind of a similar comp. Obviously, Porzingis has further advanced in his game and his career, but that'll be fun to watch. But I mean, that's another team. They only have, I think, 6 wins on the year. So we need to take care of business. Whatever plans the guys have for after New Year's Eve, don't put your mind on that until after it. Take care of business, get the W to close out the year to be 26-6, because the stretch does get a little tougher. We have Oklahoma City a couple days after the new year. We have a couple of really tough back-to-backs, like where we have one game in one city, one game in another, including one where we have Minnesota at home and then the next day in Milwaukee. So when you can take care of business against these teams, don't look ahead. But ultimately, a W.
Yeah. Okay, Alex. I'm gonna put something up on the screen, and then you're gonna give me your thoughts. Okay. Bam. What does this mean to you?
It means Pete is yelling about being wrong.
Oh man. Well, Alex. You don't have to tell me, okay? Damn, because Pete is still here.
What's up?
So tomorrow night, live, 6:30, we are having the BSEN Town Hall. Well, my man, Pete, is going to sit down in 60-minute style for 30 minutes to grill our man Alex about the tweet that shook Pat's Nation. So a little quick. We're gonna do promo style. Pete, we'll let you go first, and then Alex, and then we're gonna close off and you guys gonna meet back here tomorrow night at 6:30 live on at BSEN 617. The floor is yours, Pete.
Well, I don't want to spoil any of the burning hot takes that I have, but I think it's pretty simple. When you're a fan of a team, you like to root for the team to win the games and you want them to have success. So I think we're both fans here because that second half of the sentence, have success, is where Alex is focused on. And the winning is the part that I'm focused on. Now, we want both to happen. Ultimately, at the end of the day, winning and success, how we get there, I think we're on two completely different paths. So I'm looking forward to debating and providing factual evidence to support the argument that winning helps you win.
Alex, did you see the TikTok video that Pete put out on you, cutting his best rock promo on you?
Yeah, it's my man, Skip Bayless over there with the hot takes. So for me, I mean, obviously, we're both fans, and there's no right or wrong way to be a fan. I just think what's good for the franchise, we all love watching them in those playoff runs and those Super Bowls, and that's ultimately the goal, is to get back there. And what gets you back there is having elite talent and not finishing 6-10, 7-10, 5-11 every year, and winning just enough games to make it interesting, but ultimately costing yourself position to get that elite talent. As you can see with this Patriots team, what they're really lacking on the offensive side of the ball is elite talent at the quarterback position, at the wide receiver position, playmaking. So I believe the fastest way to get back there is to get high up in the draft. And without spoiling anything, it's on, Pete.
Man, we're going to find out tomorrow night, 6:30, live on our YouTube channel, who is the real Patriots fan. So, guys, for myself, for Pete, Alex, our pesky podcast, Kings of Causeway, make sure you guys go and check us out on our Twitter at BSEN_617. Hit our link tree that's down there. You want the merch? We got the shirts that cover all of our podcasts. Scan the QR code, takes you right there. And as always, follow and subscribe YouTube at BSEN 617. Make sure you check out all of our podcasts coming out every week. But until next time on the Roundtable, we're going to stay Boston strong.